Or what if the reason you can't focus, the reason your mind feels slow, forgetful, and cloudy isn't actually a brain problem at all? What if the real cause of your brain fog is hiding somewhere you would never expect, inside your gut? It might sound surprising, but the health of your digestive system could be controlling how clearly you think, how well you remember things, and even how sharp your mind feels every single day. And once you understand this hidden connection, it might completely change the way you think about brain fog. Brain fog is something many people experience but often struggle to explain. It's not a medical diagnosis, yet the feeling is very real. It's that strange mental state where your thoughts feel slow, your focus seems weak, and even simple tasks start to feel harder than they should. You may sit down to work, study, or read something important, but your mind refuses to cooperate. Or you read the same sentence again and again, but it doesn't fully register. It feels as if your brain is running through a thick cloud, making everything slightly slower and less clear. For many people, brain fog shows up as difficulty concentrating. Tasks that once felt easy suddenly require more effort. You might find yourself easily distracted, jumping from one thing to another without finishing anything. Your mind feels scattered, and organizing your thoughts becomes harder than usual. Sometimes even holding a conversation can feel mentally exhausting because it takes more effort to process what someone is saying and respond clearly. Another common sign of brain fog is forgetfulness. You may forget small everyday things like where you placed your phone while you walked into a room, or what you were about to say in the middle of a sentence. These moments can feel frustrating and sometimes even worrying. People often start to question whether something is wrong with their memory or their brain health. However, in many cases, this forgetfulness is not permanent memory loss, but a temporary decline in mental clarity. Mental fatigue is another major part of brain fog. Even if you haven't done intense physical work, or your mind may feel tired and drained. Activities that require thinking, planning, or decision making may feel overwhelming, or your brain may feel like it simply doesn't have the energy to operate at its normal level. This type of fatigue can make productivity drop and can affect daily routines, work performance, and even motivation. Many people automatically assume that brain fog must come directly from the brain itself. They often blame lack of sleep, stress, aging, or overworking the mind. While these factors can certainly contribute, they do not always explain the full picture. Because the symptoms are mental, most people naturally look for answers within the brain. They might try drinking more coffee, taking supplements for memory, or pushing themselves harder to stay focused. What many people don't realize is that the brain does not work in isolation. It is deeply connected to many systems throughout the body, especially the digestive system. The body functions as a network where organs constantly communicate with each other. When something in one system becomes unbalanced, it can influence other systems in surprising ways. This means the source of mental symptoms is not always located in the brain itself. As research into human health continues to grow, scientists are discovering that the causes of brain fog can sometimes originate far away from the brain. The digestive system, which many people only associate with food and digestion, plays a much larger role in overall health than previously believed. When the gut becomes unhealthy or imbalanced, it can affect how the brain functions, how clearly we think, and how much mental energy we feel during the day. Understanding this possibility opens the door to looking at brain fog from a completely different perspective, or one that goes beyond the brain and begins to explore the deeper connections within the body. Many people are surprised to learn that the cause of brain fog is not always located in the brain itself. While the symptoms clearly affect how we think, focus, and remember things, the underlying problem can sometimes begin in a completely different part of the body. One of the most important connections scientists have discovered in recent years is the powerful relationship between the brain and the digestive system. This relationship is often referred to as the gut-brain connection, and it shows that the brain and the gut are constantly communicating with each other. The gut and the brain are linked through a complex communication network involving nerves, hormones, and chemical signals. One of the most important pathways in this system is the vagus nerve, a long nerve that runs directly from the brainstem down to the digestive organs. This nerve acts like a communication highway, sending information back and forth between the brain and the gut every second. Because of this connection, the condition of the gut can directly influence how the brain feels and functions. Inside the digestive system lives a massive community of microorganisms, including bacteria, fungi, and other microbes. Together, they form what scientists call the gut microbiome. These microorganisms play a vital role in digestion, immune function, and nutrient absorption. However, their influence goes far beyond digestion. The bacteria in the gut also produce many chemical messengers that can travel through the bloodstream or communicate through the nervous system, ultimately affecting the brain. When the gut microbiome is balanced and healthy, these microbes help produce beneficial compounds that support brain health. They assist in the production of neurotransmitters and other molecules that influence mood, energy, and cognitive performance. In this state, the signals traveling between the gut and the brain are stable and supportive, helping the mind stay sharp and focused. However, when the gut microbiome becomes unbalanced, this communication can begin to break down. An imbalance can occur when harmful bacteria begin to outnumber beneficial ones. This condition, often referred to as dysbiosis, can change the types of chemical signals being sent to the brain. Instead of supportive signals, the gut may start producing substances that promote inflammation or interfere with normal brain activity. This disruption can begin to affect how the brain processes information. People may notice that their thoughts feel slower, their focus becomes weaker, and mental clarity starts to fade. It can feel as if the brain is struggling to operate at full capacity, even though there may not be any direct damage or illness within the brain itself. The brain is simply responding to the signals it receives from the rest of the body. Another important factor in this gut-brain relationship is inflammation. When the digestive system becomes irritated or inflamed, the immune system becomes more active. Inflammatory molecules can then travel through the bloodstream and influence brain function. Well, these molecules can interfere with the brain's communication networks, making it harder for neurons to send clear signals to each other. Because the brain relies heavily on stable chemical communication to function properly, even small disruptions in these signals can affect concentration, memory, and mental energy. This is one reason why people experiencing gut problems often report symptoms such as brain fog, low motivation, or difficulty focusing. Understanding the gut-brain connection helps explain why brain fog sometimes improves when digestive health improves. When the gut environment becomes healthier and the balance of bacteria is restored, the signals sent to the brain can also return to a more supportive and stable state, allowing mental clarity and focus to gradually return. Inside the human digestive system lives an enormous and complex community of microorganisms that most people rarely think about. These microorganisms include bacteria, fungi, viruses, and other tiny life forms that are invisible to the naked eye. Together they form what scientists call the gut microbiome. Although they are microscopic, their combined impact on the human body is incredibly powerful. In fact, the number of microbial cells living in the digestive tract is roughly comparable to the number of human cells in the entire body. This means that every person carries a vast internal ecosystem that plays an essential role in maintaining health. The gut microbiome begins developing from the moment a person is born. Over time, it becomes more diverse and complex, shaped by diet, environment, lifestyle, and even stress levels. Each person's microbiome is unique, almost like a biological fingerprint. Some bacteria are considered beneficial because they support important bodily functions, while others can become harmful if they grow in excessive numbers. Maintaining a healthy balance between these different types of microbes is essential for overall well-being. One of the most well-known roles of gut bacteria is helping the body digest food. Many foods, especially those rich in fiber, cannot be fully broken down by human digestive enzymes alone. Beneficial gut bacteria step in to finish the job by fermenting these fibers and converting them into useful compounds. During this process, they produce substances known as short-chain fatty acids, which help nourish the cells lining the intestines and support the health of the digestive system. This process not only improves digestion, but also strengthens the body's defense systems. However, the influence of the gut microbiome extends far beyond digestion. These microorganisms also interact with the immune system and help regulate inflammation throughout the body. A balanced microbiome helps the immune system respond appropriately to threats while preventing unnecessary inflammatory reactions. When this balance is disturbed, inflammation can increase, which may affect many organs, including the brain. One of the most fascinating discoveries in recent scientific research is that gut bacteria can influence the brain and nervous system. The microbes living in the digestive tract produce a wide variety of chemical compounds that act as messengers within the body. Some of these compounds are similar to the neurotransmitters used by the brain to communicate between nerve cells. These chemical signals can travel through the bloodstream or interact with the nervous system, allowing gut bacteria to influence mood, energy levels, and cognitive performance. Certain gut bacteria are involved in producing substances such as serotonin, dopamine, and gamma-aminobutyric acid. These chemicals play major roles in regulating mood, motivation, and mental clarity. When the microbiome is balanced and functioning properly, these signals help support stable brain activity and healthy cognitive function. People often feel mentally alert, emotionally stable, and capable of concentrating on tasks. When the balance of the microbiome becomes disrupted, the situation can change dramatically. Factors such as poor diet, chronic stress, lack of sleep, excessive antibiotic use, and sedentary lifestyles can reduce the diversity of beneficial bacteria. At the same time, harmful microbes may begin to dominate the environment within the gut. This imbalance can lead to the production of different chemical signals that may negatively affect brain function. As these signals reach the brain, people may begin to experience symptoms such as difficulty concentrating, slower thinking, mental fatigue, and reduced motivation. These experiences are often described as brain fog, a state in which the mind feels cloudy and less efficient. The brain is still functioning well, but the quality of communication between the gut and the brain has been altered due to changes in the microbial community living inside the digestive system. The digestive system is often referred to as the second brain, a term that surprises many people when they hear it for the first time. At first, it may sound like an exaggeration, but the nickname actually comes from the remarkable complexity of the nervous system that exists inside the gut. The digestive tract contains its own network of neurons known as the enteric nervous system. This system includes hundreds of millions of nerve cells embedded in the lining of the gastrointestinal tract, making it one of the most complex nerve networks in the human body outside of the brain itself. These neurons constantly monitor the movement of food, the release of digestive enzymes, or in the contraction of muscles that push food through the digestive system. They also communicate with the brain through a variety of pathways, including the vagus nerve and chemical signals carried through the bloodstream. Because this network can function independently in many ways while still staying connected to the brain, scientists began describing the gut as a second brain. One of the most fascinating aspects of the gut's role in brain function is its involvement in producing neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers that allow nerve cells to communicate with each other. In the brain, they control processes such as mood memory, focus, motivation, and emotional balance. For many years, scientists assumed that these chemicals were primarily produced in the brain itself. However, modern research has revealed that a large portion of them are actually produced in the digestive system. Serotonin is one of the most well-known neurotransmitters connected to both mood and mental clarity. It plays an important role in regulating feelings of well-being, emotional stability, sleep cycles, and cognitive performance. Surprisingly, about 90% of the body's serotonin is produced in the gut rather than in the brain. Specialized cells in the lining of the digestive tract release serotonin in response to signals from gut bacteria and other digestive processes. The presence of this large amount of serotonin in the gut highlights how strongly the digestive system can influence brain function. Although serotonin produced in the gut does not directly cross into the brain, it still affects the nervous system through communication pathways that link the gut and the brain together. These signals can influence how the brain regulates mood, attention, and overall mental energy. Gut bacteria also play an important role in regulating how these neurotransmitters are produced and used. Beneficial microbes help stimulate the production of compounds that support healthy nerve signaling. They also influence the availability of certain nutrients that the body needs in order to create neurotransmitters. For example, vitamins such as B6, B12, and folate are important for maintaining proper brain chemistry, and many gut bacteria help synthesize or process these nutrients. When the gut environment is healthy and balanced, or the production and regulation of these chemical messengers tend to operate smoothly. Communication between the digestive system and the brain remains stable, supporting clear thinking, balanced emotions, and steady mental energy throughout the day. People often feel mentally alert and capable of focusing on tasks without feeling overwhelmed or mentally drained. However, when the gut becomes inflamed or the balance of bacteria becomes disrupted, this delicate system can begin to malfunction. Changes in the gut environment can alter how neurotransmitters are produced or regulated. These changes may interfere with the signals that normally travel between the gut and the brain. As a result, the brain may receive confusing or weakened signals, which can affect concentration, mood stability, and mental clarity. This is one reason why digestive health is increasingly recognized as an important factor in cognitive function. When the gut environment is healthy and supportive, it helps maintain stable chemical communication within the nervous system, allowing the brain to operate more efficiently and clearly. The human body depends heavily on communication systems that allow different organs to work together smoothly. One of the most important communication networks exists between the gut and the brain. These two organs constantly exchange signals through nerves, hormones, and chemical messengers. When this communication system functions properly, it helps regulate digestion, mood, mental clarity, and energy levels. However, when the balance of bacteria in the gut becomes unhealthy, the signals traveling from the gut to the brain can become disrupted, and this disruption can begin to affect how the brain performs everyday tasks. Inside the digestive system, trillions of bacteria work together to maintain a stable environment. Some of these bacteria are beneficial and support digestion, nutrient absorption, and immune function. Others can become harmful if they grow too rapidly or begin to dominate the environment. A healthy gut microbiome relies on balance. Beneficial bacteria usually help keep harmful microbes under control while producing helpful substances that support both gut health and brain function. When this balance is disturbed, a condition known as microbial imbalance or dysbiosis can develop. Dysbiosis occurs when the diversity of beneficial bacteria decreases, while harmful bacteria become more dominant. This imbalance can be triggered by several lifestyle factors such as poor diet, excessive sugar consumption, chronic stress, frequent antibiotic use, lack of sleep, or a sedentary lifestyle. Over time, these factors can gradually change the composition of the gut microbiome. As harmful bacteria increase, they may begin producing substances that irritate the lining of the digestive tract. These substances can trigger inflammation inside the gut and interfere with normal digestive processes. At the same time, beneficial bacteria that normally produce helpful compounds may become less active or disappear in large numbers. This shift changes the types of chemical signals being sent from the gut to the brain. The gut communicates with the brain through several pathways, including the vagus nerve, immune signals, and chemical messengers circulating in the bloodstream. When the microbiome is balanced, the signals reaching the brain are supportive and help maintain stable cognitive function. These signals contribute to clear thinking, steady mood, and normal levels of mental energy. When dysbiosis develops, the messages being sent to the brain can become distorted. Instead of producing compounds that support brain activity, harmful bacteria may release toxins and inflammatory molecules. These substances can influence the nervous system and interfere with the normal communication between nerve cells. As these disrupted signals reach the brain may begin to respond with changes in how it processes information. People experiencing this imbalance often notice symptoms that resemble brain fog. Their thoughts may feel slower than usual, and concentrating on tasks may require much more effort. Memory recall can become less reliable, making it easier to forget small details or lose track of conversations. Tasks that once felt simple may begin to feel mentally exhausting, and productivity may decrease as the brain struggles to maintain focus. The brain depends on stable chemical communication to function efficiently. Even small changes in these signals can influence how quickly neurons communicate with one another. When signals from the gut become inconsistent or inflammatory, this delicate communication system may slow down, leading to reduced mental clarity and decreased cognitive performance. Because the gut and brain are so closely connected, disturbances in gut health can sometimes appear first as mental symptoms rather than digestive problems. A person may experience brain fog, low motivation, or difficulty concentrating without immediately realizing that the underlying cause may be linked to an imbalance in the gut microbiome rather than a direct problem within the brain itself. The modern diet has changed dramatically over the past few decades, and these changes have had a significant impact on gut health. Many people today rely heavily on highly processed foods that are convenient, affordable, and widely available. While these foods may save time and satisfy cravings, they often contain large amounts of refined sugar, unhealthy fats, artificial additives, and very little dietary fiber. This combination can slowly disrupt the natural balance of bacteria living inside the digestive system. The gut microbiome depends heavily on the types of foods a person consumes every day. Beneficial bacteria thrive when they are regularly supplied with nutrients that support their growth, particularly dietary fiber found in vegetables, fruits, legumes, and whole grains. Fiber acts as a form of fuel for many helpful microbes. When these bacteria digest fiber, they produce beneficial compounds that help strengthen the intestinal lining, support immune function, and reduce inflammation throughout the body. When the diet lacks fiber and instead contains large amounts of processed foods, the environment inside the gut begins to change. Harmful bacteria tend to thrive on refined sugars and processed ingredients. These microbes can multiply rapidly when their preferred food sources become abundant. Over time, this can shift the balance of the microbiome, allowing harmful bacteria to outnumber beneficial ones. As this imbalance develops, the gut environment becomes less supportive of healthy digestion and overall wellness. Highly processed foods can also affect the gut in other ways. Many processed products contain artificial preservatives, emulsifiers, and chemical additives designed to extend shelf life or improve texture. Some research suggests that certain additives may disrupt the protective mucus layer that lines the intestinal walls. This mucus layer plays an important role in protecting the gut from harmful bacteria and toxins. When it becomes weakened, the gut lining may become more vulnerable to irritation and inflammation. As harmful bacteria begin to dominate the gut environment, they can produce substances that irritate the digestive tract and activate the immune system. The body recognizes these substances as potential threats and responds by triggering inflammation. While inflammation is a natural defense mechanism, chronic inflammation within the digestive system can begin to affect other parts of the body as well. One of the most important consequences of this process is that inflammation does not always remain limited to the gut. Inflammatory molecules produced in response to gut irritation can enter the bloodstream and circulate throughout the body. When these molecules reach the brain, they can interfere with the delicate communication systems that allow nerve cells to send signals efficiently. This interference can affect how quickly and clearly the brain processes information. When brain communication becomes disrupted in this way, people may begin to notice symptoms associated with brain fog. Their thinking may feel slower, concentration may become more difficult, and mental energy may drop. Tasks that require sustained attention, such as reading, studying, or problem solving, may feel more challenging than usual. Even motivation and mood can be affected as the brain responds to inflammatory signals traveling through the body. The connection between diet, gut health, and brain function highlights how closely the digestive system is tied to mental performance. The foods people choose to eat each day shape the microbial environment inside the gut, which in turn influences the signals being sent to the brain. When the diet consistently supports beneficial bacteria through nutrient-rich whole foods, the gut environment tends to remain balanced and supportive of clear thinking. When processed foods dominate the diet for long periods of time, the balance can shift in ways that may contribute to inflammation, microbial imbalance, and reduced mental clarity. Inflammation is a natural defense mechanism that helps the body respond to injury, infection, or harmful substances. When the immune system detects a threat, it releases chemicals that trigger inflammation to protect tissues and begin the healing process. In small and temporary amounts, this response is essential for survival. However, when inflammation becomes chronic and continues for long periods of time, it can begin to damage tissues and interfere with normal body functions. One of the places where chronic inflammation can begin is the digestive system. The gut is constantly exposed to everything a person eats and drinks, along with various microorganisms that enter the body through food and the environment. Because of this constant exposure, the immune system closely monitors activity inside the digestive tract. A healthy gut lining acts as a protective barrier that carefully controls what passes into the bloodstream. Nutrients are allowed to pass through so the body can use them, while harmful bacteria, toxins, and unwanted substances are kept out. When the gut environment becomes imbalanced, this protective barrier can begin to weaken. Factors such as poor diet, excessive sugar intake, chronic stress, infections, or an imbalance of gut bacteria can irritate the intestinal lining. Over time, this irritation can cause the immune system to remain active in the gut, leading to persistent inflammation. The digestive system may then begin releasing inflammatory molecules as part of the body's ongoing defense response. These inflammatory molecules do not always stay limited to the digestive system, normal. Once they are produced, they can enter the bloodstream and travel throughout the body. The circulatory system allows these signals to reach many organs, including the brain. When inflammatory molecules reach the brain, they can interfere with the delicate processes that allow nerve cells to communicate effectively. The brain relies on precise chemical signaling to perform tasks such as thinking, learning, memory formation, and decision-making. Or neurons communicate with each other through electrical signals and neurotransmitters that must remain carefully balanced. Inflammation can disrupt this balance by affecting how neurotransmitters are produced, released, and received by nerve cells. Even small disruptions in this communication network can slow down the brain's ability to process information efficiently. When this interference occurs, people may begin to experience symptoms associated with reduced cognitive clarity. Their thinking may feel slower than usual, and concentrating on complex tasks may require more effort. Memory recall can also become less reliable, making it easier to forget details or lose track of information during conversations. The brain may feel mentally tired even when the body is not physically exhausted. This state of reduced mental clarity is often described as brain fog. It does not necessarily mean that the brain itself is damaged, but rather that the conditions supporting optimal brain function have been disturbed. Inflammation coming from the gut can create an internal environment that makes it more difficult for the brain to operate at its usual level of efficiency. The relationship between gut inflammation and brain function highlights how closely different systems of the body interact with each other. The digestive system, immune system, and nervous system constantly exchange signals that influence overall health. When inflammation begins in the gut and spreads through the bloodstream, the brain can become affected by signals that originated far away from the head. Understanding this connection helps explain why some people experience mental symptoms when their digestive health is not functioning properly. When inflammation in the gut decreases and the digestive system returns to a more balanced state, the signals traveling through the body may also become calmer and more stable, allowing the brain to regain clearer and more efficient communication between its nerve cells. Stress is one of the most common factors that can affect both gut health and brain function, yet many people don't realize just how closely these systems are connected. When the body experiences stress, it responds by releasing hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones are designed to help the body react quickly to perceived threats, preparing muscles for action, increasing heart rate, and diverting energy to essential survival functions. While this response is helpful in short bursts, chronic stress keeps the body in a constant state of alert, which can have negative effects on many systems, including the digestive system. The gut is especially sensitive to stress because it is closely connected to the nervous system. The enteric nervous system, sometimes called the second brain, communicates directly with the central nervous system through the vagus nerve and other pathways. When stress hormones are released, they can alter the way the gut functions, slowing digestion, changing gut motility, and sometimes causing discomfort such as bloating, cramping, or irregular bowel movements. Over time, these disruptions can interfere with the balance of bacteria in the gut, which is critical for maintaining proper digestive and overall health. Chronic stress can also weaken the lining of the digestive tract. The gut lining acts as a barrier, selectively allowing nutrients into the bloodstream while keeping harmful substances out. When stress is prolonged, this barrier can become more permeable, a condition often referred to as leaky gut. Increased gut permeability allows unwanted substances, such as toxins and partially digested food particles, to enter the bloodstream. This can trigger the immune system and lead to inflammation, which may affect other organs, including the brain. The connection between stress, gut health, and brain function is particularly important when it comes to mental clarity. Inflammation and chemical imbalances in the gut can interfere with the production and signaling of neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers that regulate mood, attention, and cognitive function. For example, serotonin, which plays a key role in mood and mental clarity, is largely produced in the gut. Chronic stress can disrupt serotonin production and other neurotransmitter systems, making it harder for the brain to operate efficiently. In addition to chemical changes, stress also affects blood flow and energy availability. The body diverts resources toward immediate survival needs, sometimes at the expense of digestion and brain function. This means that even when a person is sitting at a desk or trying to focus on a mental task, their body may be prioritizing a stress response over optimal cognitive performance. The result is often a feeling of mental fatigue, difficulty concentrating, and what people commonly describe as brain fog. Stress also influences lifestyle habits that impact gut health, such as sleep, diet, and physical activity. People under chronic stress may eat more processed foods, skip meals, or rely on caffeine and sugar for energy. They may sleep less or experience restless sleep, both of which further disrupt the gut microbiome and reduce the brain's ability to recover and process information. Lack of exercise and prolonged sedentary behavior can also contribute to microbial imbalance and slower gut function, adding another layer to the stress-brain-gut connection. Because the gut and brain are so interconnected, managing stress effectively is crucial for mental clarity. Techniques such as mindfulness, meditation, deep breathing exercises, and regular physical activity can help reduce cortisol levels and restore balance to the gut microbiome. Even small changes, like taking short breaks throughout the day or spending time in nature, can calm the nervous system and improve communication between the gut and brain. By reducing chronic stress, it is possible to improve gut health, decrease inflammation, and support better brain function over time, which can help minimize symptoms of brain fog and mental fatigue. Sleep is one of the most powerful yet often overlooked factors affecting both gut health and brain function. While many people focus on diet, exercise, or stress management, the quality and quantity of sleep have profound effects on how the body and brain operate. During sleep, the body performs essential maintenance tasks that support overall health, including restoring energy, repairing tissues, and regulating hormones. Without sufficient sleep, these processes are disrupted, which can lead to a cascade of effects on the digestive system, the brain, and the communication between them. One of the key ways sleep affects the gut is through the regulation of the gut microbiome. Studies have shown that sleep deprivation or poor sleep quality can disrupt the balance of bacteria in the digestive system. When sleep is irregular or insufficient, beneficial bacteria may decrease, while harmful bacteria can multiply, creating an environment that is less supportive of healthy digestion and nutrient absorption. This imbalance can make it harder for the gut to perform its normal functions and may contribute to inflammation and other digestive issues. Sleep also influences the integrity of the gut lining. A strong gut lining acts as a barrier, allowing nutrients to pass into the bloodstream while keeping harmful substances out. Poor sleep can weaken this barrier, increasing gut permeability, a condition sometimes called leaky gut. When the gut lining is compromised, unwanted particles such as toxins or partially digested food can enter the bloodstream, triggering an immune response. This immune activation produces inflammatory molecules that can affect other parts of the body, including the brain, and contribute to symptoms like brain fog and low mental energy. The brain itself relies heavily on sleep to maintain optimal function. During deep sleep, the brain clears out metabolic waste that accumulates during the day. This cleansing process, sometimes compared to a nightly detox, helps neurons communicate more efficiently and supports memory consolidation and learning. Without enough restorative sleep, waste products can accumulate, slowing down cognitive processes and making it harder to focus or think clearly. When poor sleep is combined with a disrupted gut microbiome, the effects on the brain can become even more pronounced. While hormones regulated by sleep also play a role in the gut-brain connection. For example, sleep influences the production of cortisol, a hormone released in response to stress, as well as ghrelin and leptin, which regulate hunger and satiety. Disruptions in these hormones caused by insufficient sleep can affect eating patterns, digestion, and the types of foods that fuel the gut microbiome. Poor sleep may also increase cravings for sugar and processed foods, which can further disrupt gut balance and create a cycle of imbalance that affects both gut health and mental clarity. In addition to chemical and microbial changes, sleep deprivation affects energy levels, mood, and decision making. A tired brain struggles to concentrate, organize thoughts, and retain information. At the same time, a fatigued body can experience slower digestion, reduced absorption of nutrients, and decreased microbial diversity in the gut. Together, these effects contribute to a sense of mental fog, low motivation, and impaired cognitive performance that is often associated with poor gut health. Restoring healthy sleep patterns can have a powerful impact on both the gut and the brain. Regular, uninterrupted sleep allows the microbiome to stabilize, the gut lining to repair, and inflammatory processes to calm. The brain benefits from waste clearance, hormonal regulation, and improved neuronal communication, which enhances focus, clarity, and overall cognitive function. By prioritizing quality sleep, people can support the intricate connection between the gut and the brain, improving mental clarity, energy levels, and long-term health. The good news is that the gut is incredibly responsive to positive changes, and improving its health can have a profound impact on mental clarity, energy, and overall well-being. Unlike some organs that require complex interventions to heal, the gut can often recover through relatively simple adjustments in diet, lifestyle, and daily habits. Supporting gut health not only strengthens digestion, but also enhances the communication between the gut and the brain, which can reduce symptoms like brain fog and mental fatigue. One of the most effective ways to support gut health is through diet. Consuming a variety of fiber-rich foods is crucial because fiber serves as fuel for beneficial bacteria in the digestive system. Vegetables, fruits, legumes, and whole grains provide the nutrients these microbes need to thrive. When beneficial bacteria are nourished, or they produce compounds such as short-chain fatty acids that strengthen the gut lining, reduce inflammation, and support optimal nutrient absorption. These effects not only improve digestion, but also enhance the chemical signals sent from the gut to the brain, promoting clearer thinking and better mental performance. Fermented foods are another valuable tool for improving gut health. Foods like yogurt, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, and miso contain probiotics, which are live bacteria that add to the diversity and balance of the gut microbiome. Introducing these bacteria can help restore a healthy microbial environment, crowd out harmful microbes, and support proper digestion. Over time, a well-balanced microbiome contributes to stable production of neurotransmitters such as serotonin and dopamine, which play key roles in mood focus or in cognitive function. Hydration is often overlooked but is essential for maintaining a healthy gut. Water helps transport nutrients, supports the digestive process, and maintains the integrity of the gut lining. Dehydration can slow digestion, reduce nutrient absorption, and make it harder for the gut microbiome to function properly. Drinking adequate water throughout the day ensures that the gut can efficiently process food, produce beneficial compounds, and communicate effectively with the brain. Physical activity also has a direct impact on gut health. Regular exercise promotes healthy blood flow to the digestive system, supports the movement of food through the intestines, and encourages the growth of beneficial bacteria. Exercise reduces stress, which is a major factor in disrupting gut balance, and helps regulate hormones that influence both digestion and brain function. Even moderate activities like daily walking, stretching, or yoga can make a significant difference in the overall health of the gut microbiome. Managing stress is another critical component of supporting gut health. Chronic stress alters the balance of bacteria in the gut, increases inflammation, and can weaken the gut lining. Techniques such as deep breathing, meditation, mindfulness practices, and spending time outdoors can reduce stress hormones, calm the nervous system, and create an environment in the gut that allows beneficial bacteria to flourish. When stress is managed effectively, the gut-brain communication improves, supporting better cognitive function and mental clarity. Improving sleep patterns also reinforces gut health. During sleep, the body repairs tissues, regulates hormones, and supports the immune system. Adequate high-quality sleep allows the microbiome to maintain balance, reduces gut inflammation, and ensures that the brain can operate efficiently. Poor sleep can disrupt these processes, while consistent restorative sleep strengthens both gut and brain function. By combining these lifestyle changes, nutrient-rich foods, probiotics, hydration, exercise, stress management, and proper sleep, the gut can recover, inflammation can decrease, and the microbiome can become more balanced. As the gut environment stabilizes, the chemical signals it sends to the brain also improve, enhancing cognitive function, focus, mood, and energy. Supporting gut health is not just about digestion. It is a foundational strategy for improving mental clarity and overall wellness. The gut and brain are deeply interconnected, and nurturing the gut through these simple but consistent habits often leads to remarkable improvements in mental performance and day-to-day cognitive function.